Hi, Carmen Papa with American Exteriors and Masonry, and today we want to talk about how to actually install an egress door. We're here in Herndon, Virginia, where we installed 3 egress doors. We did this one, we did the house next door, and we did the house on the other side as well. We did all 3 projects at the same time. Rather aggressive, a lot of debris, a lot of dirt was here on the property, but got it all cleaned up, got the sod planted, and everything's working pretty good. But just to give you an idea how we do this thing, originally, of course, none of this was here. There was no concrete. None of this was here. You know, when we first met the homeowner, there was simply, grass and the foundation wall. We came in here and hand dug. So, the Fairfax County requires that when you dig something like this, it's got to be hand dug because they don't want the machinery to bang into the wall and knock half the house down. So we came in here with a bunch of guys and shovels, wheelbarrows, and dug this hole out and piled the dirt on the other side of the yard on plastic tarps. Once the hole was dug, we then went about our footer system, and I have a full tutorial in still pictures of how the jobs, one of these jobs, go from start to finish. So you'll see the footer system, the depth, the thickness, the rebar. We use a 1/2 inch rebar, what they call number 4 bars, and it's all got to be laid down a certain way. So again, we cut this hole out, and we had footers are 2 feet deep, a foot wide, 18 between 12 and 16, 18 inches wide. We laid block on, so we laid the block all the way up. Once the block was laid, we formed all this out, formed the steps, put rebar in there. At the bottom down there you see a pit for the sump pump. So these things take a lot of water, so all this water came down the steps, all goes in there. If you look off to the side on the bottom, you're going to see the electrical connections for that sump pump. So it's easy to get to. And all that. So once we had this whole thing dug out and the brick was up, of course there's inspections that we have to go through along the way. We then poured the whole thing solid concrete. On the retaining walls, we had to fill these cells with concrete, and we built it just like a regular retaining wall. So it's got concrete in the cells, and also in those cells are that number 4 or that 1/2 inch rebar. Every 16 inches we have to have that rebar is going to go all the way down and into the footer. It ties into the footer system. So we do all that, make sure we have a good strong wall. As you can see, we parged it when we were done. Parging means simply we take mortar, concrete and sand, and basically put a nice like a stucco type finish on it, which can be painted or stoned up or whatever you want to do later on down the road. But once we had that big hole in the wall or in the ground, we then come in with and cut a hole in the foundation wall. So obviously that hole wasn't there, so it's a pretty big job cutting all that concrete out of there, dropping it to the ground, busting it in smaller pieces, cutting it like crazy, and hauling it out of the hole, a little bit at a time. After that, the door was framed out like you would typically frame out any application, but realize that this is unusual. This particular one was on the side of the house, so this is a non-load bearing wall. But as far as we're concerned, we built it as if it was a load bearing wall. So we've got all kind of headers and such underneath on the top of that door frame. Once the door was cut out, we frame it up. We used double king studs on the side, and jack studs and head studs, and all this header stuff, all this good wood stuff, and again, we installed the door, and at the exterior perimeter, we used an AZEK product, which is a vinyl product that looks like wood. So, looking at this thing, you would think that the exterior is wood, but in fact it's vinyl, so it'll never rot, and that sort of thing. We then put some handrails on here. We have a custom-made steel wrought iron handrails that we bolt into the wall, and these things are on there pretty good. We put a flagstone cap on top, so when you look at this thing, it's all ready to go if they want to put stone on the side and that sort of thing. Once the job was all completed, the client, came out here and was just a big mud pit. So of course she asked us to pour this concrete. So we ended up pouring concrete back here from on the other side. You see around the air conditioner, down the side here, and up over and down the other side. So she got a pretty nice finished product. It's something she can use, and just coming into spring now, so I'm sure in about 10 minutes she's going to put her table in there. And that's it. Let's go downstairs and take a look and see what it looks like from the inside. Again, you can see here, this is all, looks like wood, but it's actually vinyl. Install the light. Of course, this is for code. You have to, the steps have to be lit for code. And again, we had a master electrician come in and do all the electrical work for us. Okay, so from the inside, it's your typical door. She got kind of a nice door here where it, she can open it up that way. So that's kind of cool. But again, you can see the thickness of this thing. Your side walls, of course, on a basement are about 8 inches, sometimes more. That was it. We installed the door. We put the molding in, make it nice and dry, so that the client here had just remodeled their basement. They remodeled the basement at the same time we're doing the door. Now, the new codes that are out is that if you're going to remodel your basement, you have to have egress from that basement, either by way of a door or a window. And of course, these people elected the door. So, again, pretty nice looking job. Everything's all tight. Everything looks pretty good. And come here, you. There we go. So we want to open the whole thing up. Now this door was done probably about 6 months ago. And from that period till now, the client had ordered a new entry door with our company. And that was installed a few days ago. And so we must have done something right. She had us come back to do more work. Okay, so from Herndon, Virginia, signing off, Carmen Pretapapa. See you later.